When it comes to investing in rider kit, nothing is more important than a decent helmet. But how do you work out what a decent helmet is? And more to the point, how do you work out which helmet is right for you? Well, that's why I'm here at the Sports Bike Shop with Mark from Sharp to find out. So Mark, we've got the 2022 Shark range behind us. There's loads of helmets. I'm really confused as to where I should start. What should I be looking at? What is the right helmet for me?
Okay, well, Shark as a manufacturer, we make helmets for pretty much every motorcyclist on the road. So we need to start looking at what type of bike you ride, what type of riding you do, get some information, and then we'll start to look at the different segments in the range. So what kind of bike are you riding at the moment? What type of riding are you doing? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I guess most of my riding is on sports bikes. There's quite a bit of track work going on as well. So, you know, the sportier side of things is my bread and butter.
Okay, well, Race R Pro is going to be the range of products that we have at the top end for racers, obviously, for track riders, track days, sports bike riders. So let's look at the options we've got in Race R Pro for you.
So I'm liking the look of this, Mark. So this is your Race R Pro range.
It is, yeah.
4 different models. Talk me through them. Why are they different?
Okay, if we say entry level in a racing product,
yeah.
The Race R Pro has been around for a few years now and is the helmet of choice for many riders. 2 versions. If the description is carbon, that means that the carbon fibre is on view.
Yep.
Although this actually is a carbon shell as well, so
okay.
Carbon and aramid mix. So there's a price difference because the carbon is more difficult to produce this beautiful finish.
Yep.
But spec-wise is the same.
And weight between these two as well? So that's full carbon, that's got a bit of aramid in it. Is there much difference
they're both
in weight?
carbon aramid mix,
okay.
Just this one's got the carbon on view. So
yeah.
you can actually see the level in the carbon skin.
Yeah.
Same visor on these two also.
Yeah.
And we step up to the FIM. So this is the new FIM regulation helmet for World Championship racing. This one is a 2205 because it's a European helmet for our UK customers. The FIM is an additional approval for racing. So if you were to go and do a wildcard in a World Championship race, you would need to be wearing one of these helmets.
Just to clarify, so what's defining the FIM element to that helmet?
It's a different testing regulation, so the number of impacts, the rotational forces, very similar to the new 2206 regulation. So the FIM specify you have to have this latest higher level of protection in the FIM helmet.
And obviously it's got that spoiler on the back as well, so that's an addition. Is that part of the FIM regulation or?
No, this is an aerodynamic profile.
Okay.
So we are looking very specifically at top speeds, reducing drag coefficient to make the helmet more stable at top speed, and it's essentially filling up the gap between the back of the helmet and the hump on the suit.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you.
The air flows down the rider's back.
Yeah.
So this helmet has a number of special features: titanium double D-ring, so lightweight. It's got anodized aluminium fastenings. The visor is the same on all the versions, which is a Class 1 optical.
Yeah.
Anti-fog coated, so no separate pin lock insert. So Class 1 optical performance. And then this one, again, is a GP, but this is in race replicas. So your Zarco, Oliveira and Jorge Martin, depending on what you want it to look like. Fit-wise, very similar.
Yeah.
But obviously a price difference between all 4.
So in terms of shell sizing and stuff like that, is that consistent throughout, or does that alter according to sizing?
For these essentially are the same sizing if you were to choose this helmet or this helmet.
Okay, yeah.
The sizing's the same.
So some great options here, Mark. But just to throw down the challenge to you, a lot of the other riding I do is out on the roads on stuff like super nakeds and stuff like that. So for that criteria, which would be the right product?
Well, for sure, you probably don't need to have the spoiler if you're riding on the road. Obviously, this is really aimed at kind of 225 miles an hour top speed on your MotoGP bike.
Yeah.
If you're maybe doing more on the road and a little less on the track, then maybe we should look at the Spartan Range, where we've got some good options.
Growing in numbers, Marks, we've got 5 Spartans in front of us. What are the differences? What are we dealing with here?
Okay, well, there's actually 6. This is the new Spartan RS for 2022, and it's a 2206, the new regulation,
Okay.
New safety regulation. The carbon versions are not available yet, so we haven't got one here to show. But essentially, it's the same helmet,
Yeah.
just with a carbon structure, so it's going to be lighter. The original Spartan, still in the range. 2 different shell structures. So this one's a standard composite fibre, and this one's a carbon fibre. So again, this one's a lighter weight, and they come with a max vision pin lock. We step up to the Spartan GT. So this is very much more like for when you're doing lots of miles, you're doing lots of speed, you're wearing the helmet pretty much all day. So this has a class 1 optical visor with a 120 max vision pin lock. It's actually the same visor on the Spartan RS as it is on the GTs. Comes from the racing helmet, so we actually have a lock, so that when you're riding at high speed, the visor is locked down. So if you do a lifesaver at 90 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, should I say, the visor stays closed.
Yeah.
And it's also mounted onto the shell with 4 separate anchor points. So when that's locked, you've got 5 anchors. Class 1 optical basically eliminates any of the distortion. So when you're looking forward, but you're also using your peripheral vision, that's one of the things that makes you really tired at the end of a day. So eliminating that distortion takes that element out.
So compared to the Race R Pros, comfort is a big factor with these helmets here. This is where the game changes. So what other kind of features would I get on these that I wouldn't get on the sportier model?
So one of the things that we have on this helmet is the elasticated neck trim, and the chin skirt that fits inside this helmet really closes up the whole of the aperture on the base, so it reduces received wind noise. And along with the fluid dynamics, how we develop the ventilation, this is quieter.
Okay.
So the density of the shell, the density of the materials, when you close this visor down and you're locked in and start riding, it's really like driving, getting into a nice posh car with closes the door, and the fit and the feel is really snug and quieter.
So one thing I picked up on that I really quite like as well is these have got like a sun shield that you just scroll up and back on this locking mechanism at the rear of the helmet, and it just drops some fancy sunglasses down. I quite like that, because I guess, again, when you are out all day, if you're riding into the night or something like that, and you want to set off on your clear visor, well, job's a good one. Yeah, I like these. I guess it's a little bit of a compromise, again, maybe a bit heavier than the Race R Pros, but with everything that comes with it, the quietness, the functionality, you're stepping towards that more everyday rider usability.
Yeah, exactly. The Spartan RS, there's some subtle changes. It's a completely different shell shape. So the development of the aero program, the more we use it, the more we learn, the more we develop to improve stability on a naked bike. It does actually share the same visor and the same sun shield, but it's got a slightly different mechanism for operation. There's a micro notching. You feel the difference on the operation on this.
Yeah, so you can almost hold it in
a position that you want it to be.
Yeah, it does look strikingly different with that aero. A lot more aggressive, a lot more kind of super naked orientated, in my opinion anyway. But I do like that. It's fancy, and I guess especially when you get the carbon models out, it's going to look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, carbon models should be maybe in the middle of the year.
Brilliant. So it's great to see the difference in aero with the new RS. But what about venting? So are they all using the same kind of principle of venting systems, or are they quite different? You've got very different channels to the helmet. Do they perform the same? Or?
Okay, well, basically, certainly with the RS, we're looking at a much more aggressive riding stance, so upright, no screen. The way that we've experienced and developed with the fluid dynamics program is showing a lot that we actually get more air into the ventilations off the visor rather than you would expect maybe to open the vent to take a load of air in.
Yeah.
And when you start to do those kind of speeds, it's more difficult to get the volume through. So we actually take air which is high pressure on the screen, which then turns into low pressure, and we get a lot more volume when you take the air from the visor.
Yeah.
And then the shape of the venturi at the rear is obviously making sure that we're pulling a lot of hot air out of the shell with the venturi shape. All of these versions come with a chin skirt, which is removable, so you can have it in or not. They're all double D-ring because they're more on the sportier end. Totally removable liner. Everything in the range that we do now, even from an entry-level helmet, has a totally removable liner, so you can wash it, clean it, keep it in a nice condition, so it's pleasant to use.
Yeah, so one thing you've mentioned a few times now is the Class 1 vision on the Racer Pros and on these three Spartans here, but what exactly is it? What does it mean?
Class 1 optical, basically there's a regulation for all of the helmets where the visor has to pass specific optical performance tests. But one thing, if you're riding your naked bike or your sports bike for a long time, one of the things that happens is because you're looking forward, you're focusing forward, but you're also using your peripheral vision to pick up all the things going on the side. That change of focus from the front to the side actually makes you feel really tired at the end of the day because you're constantly changing focus, even if you don't realize you're doing it. Class 1 optical just basically eliminates the distortion when you go from the curve of the helmet to the flat operation of the visor mechanism.
So how are you doing that?
It's a variable thickness in the molding process.
So the actual visor changes its thickness as it goes along. So is it thicker in the centre?
Thicker in the centre and tapers down to the side.
Okay, right, and that corrects your vision as such. Oh, that's cool.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. But obviously on the original Spartans, that's not a feature. So these are Class 2 vision.
Yeah, standard. The consumer demand for the operation with the ratchet system for the visor to be in specific positions as you operate it, where the anything that's sportier or higher speed, generally, as you know, if you're trying to do a lifesaver at a big speed, the chances of the visor coming open, so having the visor actually locked into position is a much better security. Also, one of the things I mentioned with the sun shield on this one has this micro notching feel. It's also the same on the operation of the visor, so it has a micro notching on the plates. Same for these two as well.
It's really quite like the Spartans. Lots going on, loads of great features, but what about if I'm just looking for a helmet that's going to get me from point A to point B safely? I'm not looking at doing big miles, I'm not going to be riding on track. Where do you go next?
Okay, well, obviously any of these helmets would be suitable to do that, but maybe we'll take a look at the next segment in the range, which is the D-Skwal, the Skwal and the Ridill.
So 3 more fancy looking helmets. What are we dealing with here?
Okay, these are more generic, let's say, so not really targeting a specific rider or rider type, but more kind of your day-to-day, to work and back, out for a ride with your mates. So not specifically doing higher speeds or big distances, but a good offering, and obviously price point is a strong point for these helmets. So we have our entry-level helmet is the Ridill. So this one, as with all Shark helmets, comes with a 5-year manufacturer's warranty. It's got a total removable liner, so you can keep it in nice condition. It's pin lock ready. It's got an internal sun shield.
Right, wow.
And this one is quick release.
Okay, yeah.
The consumer.
So that's the first helmet we've come across so far with that quick release system.
Yeah, so all 3 of these, this consumer group are demanding quick release rather than double D.
Double D, yeah, okay.
So this is obviously a really strong seller in big volumes, pillions, small bikes, entry levels, scooters, etc. Then we step up to the D-Skwal. This is a slightly different shape that you can see. It's a little more modern. This is actually the first helmet that was developed in reverse engineering for a polycarbonate injection molded shell.
Okay, so just to have a deeper look at that, what do you mean reverse engineering?
Reverse engineering, basically, over the years, helmets are made from a drawing, a design, a block of clay, and you mold and model and shape the helmet to get the shape that you want, and then make the helmet.
Oh, okay.
Reverse engineering, we start from a head form on the computer and we build outwards.
Right.
So
it's almost like a blind build versus, wow, okay. Yeah. Well, it's turned out very good considering it's been done that way around. It looks great.
So generally the shell volume is a little smaller, and inside of the helmet is more skull shaped. As with all shark helmets, again, 5-year manufacturer's warranty. It's got an internal sun shield as the consumer demands. This one comes with a Max Vision pin lock. So this one the pin lock actually covers the whole of the aperture.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get a
around the outside.
Line of mist around the outside. The fit is quite different, but it's another step and another option. And then the Skwal 2 is a next level. This one comes with a higher specification on the lining material. It's also got an integrated LED system. So we have illumination on the front, the top, and the back of the helmet.
Right.
So from a safety point of view, you can leave the building at night, switch all the lights off, start your bike up, switch the lights on your helmet, and you're more visible.
Is that a USB charging system or?
Yeah. Comes with a short cable USB charger.
So nice and versatile, but I guess the question is just how versatile do you go? So what about if I've got that big tour planned? I'm going to be doing thousands of miles, changing climates, stop, start, I want to be comfortable. Where do we go next?
Okay, well, let's have a look at some helmets that are a little more versatile. Okay, well, if you're going to do some big touring with your friends, different climates, hot temperatures, cold temperatures, big speed, slow speed, riding through the towns, and you maybe want a helmet like this that you can use as a normal full face, full protection.
Yeah.
And then you can open the thing up and you can now ride it in the jet position with the chin bar sitting on the back of the helmet. It's balanced, it's aerodynamic, it's developed and designed to be ridden this way and homologated as so. You've got an internal sun shield, prerequisite for the majority of people who ride like this. UVA, UVB 400 filter. It's a class 1 optical visor with a Max Vision 120, the top high spec in the box. Auto up and auto down means that when you operate the chin bar, the visor moves as required. Open the visor, open the chin bar, the visor goes with it. If you're riding like this and you want to start going faster and bring the chin bar down, pull the chin bar over and it automatically lifts the visor and close down. Gas, and off we go. So the aerodynamic profile on this helmet is a step up from previous. So we're at another level with CFD. So you can see the shape of the Venturis, the ventilations. It's the latest generation of this type of helmet. One thing that you may notice when I opened it there is an additional set of cheek pads inside the helmet.
Yeah.
This is not a spare pad, this is an optional pad, so you can change the fit.
And that comes as standard with that purchase as well?
With that helmet, yeah.
Right. I guess one thing I would want to know, again, if I am doing big miles on tour, can you fit a Bluetooth system to that helmet?
Yeah, you can fit communication systems to every helmet in the range except for the Ridill. They're all ready to take our sharp tooth system, which basically means it's got recesses in the EPS for the speakers to sit into, so it doesn't have to be a sharp tooth, but you can fit any communication system inside the helmet. Another helmet, which is almost identical to this, is just a slightly lower spec.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're not doing big miles, big touring, don't need the latest all singing, all dancing. Basically the same helmet is the Evo ES Essential. So this is a slightly lower spec version of that, and obviously a lower cost. And then we have the Evo Jet, which is a more traditional flip helmet. So this, when you operate the chin bar, just
fancy
lifts into the normal open position. Also with an internal sun shield, operated mechanism on the side. This has actually got a Class 1 optical anti-fog coated visor. So even though it's quite an unusual shape, very much looking at city cruising, city scooters, city commuting. So you've got full front protection, but you've also got this huge visor, and it's anti-fog coated and Class 1 optical wherever you're looking through the lens. And then this version is called the City Cruiser. So this is just basically an open face version of the Evo Jet. You'll notice a lot of the things going on with the visor here, a lot of serrations, and this is all to generate airflow in the helmet, because generally this is going to be a scooter or maybe a passenger, so they're not getting so much airflow. So these serrations generate a subflux and make the air move on the inside of the helmet.
Right.
Also, even though it's an open face helmet, you can see that the chin bar, the sides of the helmet come further around like a chin bar, so you get much more coverage on the side of the helmet and much more protection than a standard open face helmet. What do you think?
Yeah, it's great that you've got a helmet like this in your range. You know, it's going to cater perfectly for that person who's riding pillion or riding in an urban environment, as you've already said. That's the great thing about your Shark range. It doesn't matter who you are, what bike you're riding, what distance you're covering, you've pretty much got a helmet that's going to cater for everyone. The product that probably floats my boat the most is the Spartan RS. That just seemed to tick the most boxes. I like the look of it, I like the features of it.
That makes sense. That makes absolute sense. So the Spartan RS, what we'd need to do then, we need to get you measured up, make sure that we're going to get the right fit for you, because fit is the most important thing. So we'll take a measurement around your crown. Because you have such a slim face, we'll probably need to make some adjustment on the cheek pads to get the fit right here, coming from previous experience with you. So yeah, let's get this sorted, get down to your local dealer, get measured up and get going.
I'm looking forward to getting some miles in on the RS. It certainly floated my boat. Hopefully there's a helmet here that has ticked your boxes as well. All of these helmets come with so many great features and they look really, really vibrant in the flesh. I'm particularly drawn to the carbon fibre look as well. Thanks for all your expertise, Mark. It's been great to go through the new 2022 Shark range. If you want any more information on any of the products in the range, check out shark-helmets.com.